All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending today's session of ACE webinars. My name is Sarah Alspawn. I will be your host and moderator for today's event. These webinars are provided by Siemens to promote adoption and proper usage of solutions with the goal to accelerate customer success and increase overall usage excellence of the Accelerator portfolio. This session will last about 60 minutes, with the last 10 minutes or so targeted at your questions and other FAQs. You can post questions in the chat area and we'll do our best to answer them during or at the end of the session. Also, you will be in listen-only mode and only able to see and chat with the Siemens panelist. If you use full screen mode here in WebEx, it will yield the best viewing experience. This session is being recorded, so please reach out to your account team with any follow-up or to receive a copy of the recorded session for distribution within your own organization. If you do not know your Siemens account manager, please contact Molly Campbell, whose email was in the invitation, and she can point you in the right direction. All right, so now let me introduce our topic for today, which is what's new in Teamcenter Copilot and GenAI. In this session, learn about the latest GenAI capabilities available in the Teamcenter 2506 release, including visual search, natural language search, and the new Teamcenter Copilot. We'll provide an overview and demo of these capabilities, how they can be deployed, and shed some light on what's planned ahead. Today's topic will be covered by Bala Konder. Bala is a product manager for Teamcenter here at Siemens. We also have Charles Aldev with us. He's here to answer questions in the chat. So again, put your questions in that chat at any time, and we'll do our best to get your response during today's webinar. Charles is the business segment co-lead for artificial intelligence in Teamcenter, global marketing lead for visualization, digital mockup, AR, VR, industrial metaverse, and AI. So we're very excited to have both of them here with us today. I will be turning things over to Bala. Welcome, Bala. You now have the floor.
Oh, thanks, Sarah, and thanks for joining. And let's get started, right? Let's do that. And today we'll talk about what's new, Teamcenter AI, especially focusing on the 2506 content. And a little bit about me, and thanks, Sarah, for the introduction. That's me, and I see that we don't have Charlie speak to. Charlie is my colleague, right? He co-presents with me, so Charlie's on too. So please feel free to, right, you can post your questions on the chat, and we'll try and answer best we can in the time available. So in terms of the content today, right? We'll do like a solutions overview. What's new in 2506, and so some of you may have already gotten started in the 2412 release. So we'll talk about what's new in 2506 and how there's continuity and customer journey paths, right? Because we see a lot of customers adopting, right? Some of them are already live. So we'll give you some of our learnings, right? And what we've learned engaging with customers, and how they start with right, Teamcenter AI and almost AI in general, right? It's quite new for a lot of customers getting AI into production. There's a learning curve here, so we'll try to pass on our learnings in the journey path section, and also talk about best practices, and then we'll do some questions, right, in terms of agenda. And specifically, right, the solutions themselves will focus on the Teamcenter Copilot, which is the next evolution of what started as the Teamcenter AI chat. And we'll talk about natural language search and the accuracy improvements that we made. And also, right, we're really excited to talk about a multimodal AI that we released in 2506 with the image to part search, or also, right, some people also call it the visual part locator. It's a whole new AI modality that we introduced, so we'll also talk about that. So I'll not dwell a whole lot on this slide, right? This is kind of to give you a view of the broad Siemens Accelerator portfolio of products, right? We have a really wide and deep set of applications and solutions, right, spanning from the ideation of the product all the way through its design, the various phases of engineering, the different domains of engineering, and the phases of the life cycle, really, right? Even the manufacturing, service, etc. And we always are information rich, right? We never have a dearth of data, right? There's a lot of data, and most of the data is really high in IP value, right? They're really uh, extremely valuable to our customers, and we take that responsibility very seriously. So you'll see that play out throughout, right? In our solutions is that security is central, right? Absolutely central to anything that we do with AI, and right, and we'll continue to right make that one of the key pillars of our AI, any AI solution that we bring to our customers, right? And our partnerships with the tech, right, the hyperscalers continues to grow stronger with AWS, with Azure, and we also have right strong support for the open source model ecosystem. So we have a strong set of right partners to work with, and we believe in keeping our solution open, right, from an architecture standpoint, right? It's not tied to a specific vendor. While these are fantastic technologies to work with, we're also not wedded to any specific AI technology. We support a variety of stacks. And to this presentation today will focus specifically on the Teamcenter, right, aspects of AI. With that said, right, so I'll quickly talk about the new Teamcenter Copilot, right? The Copilot is really like, right, in many ways, if you've used a ChatGPT or a Gemini, right, in general, right, almost everybody has. We kind of bring that experience back into Teamcenter, right, into the product itself. We started with AI chat a couple releases back, and it's more functional now. There are more features, a richer set of capabilities in the 2506 release. So specifically, it's multifunction now. So let me turn my pointer mode on. So it's a multifunctional Copilot now, and it's context aware, right? So that as you navigate through Teamcenter, go through the various pages, you may be in the Teamcenter Explorer, and then you may go to right the ACE, which is the BOM application. So it knows that, right, the data context changed, and so the AI features, right, will adapt, right? It will offer you AI features that are relevant to your context in the application as you navigate the application. And some of the things that you can do, or you can generate document summaries from single documents, multiple documents. You can also do Q&A on documents, and you can interact with the bill of material in natural language, and always, right, the responses will be traced back to the source, ensuring that, right, you're responsible, you can rely on the responses, and that they're coming from your sources that you manage in Teamcenter in a secure manner. And hallucination, we control hallucinations, right, since we use RAG. And some people kind of have debated me on the hallucination-free expression here, and they're perhaps right. So because hallucinations in AI are you cannot entirely eliminate them, but to a large extent we control hallucinations, right? Because we use retrieval augmented generation layered with security, right? And the way we control the prompting, right? We make sure that the responses you rely on, you receive or you can rely on them on. And last but not least, right, the responses are always, right, any response that the AI produces, any output that the AI generates is always governed by Teamcenter access controls. So you can set up a access control model. It can be a simple role-based access, or it can be very sophisticated ITAR access, right? In either case, right, every rule, every security policy that you establish in Teamcenter will always be honored by the AI features. So with that, right, well, let's just I'm going to run this video. I'll just pause it a few times, right, to kind of talk about the flow, etc. So this is Teamcenter, right, the active workspace interface, and most of you have already right seen it, and you've started already using it, right? So, and here I have like I'm in the BOM application, which is called like the ACE in active workspace. I have a bill of material structure open on the left here, and the BOM itself has various documents attached to it. In this case, I have a couple of PDF documents attached to it, right? So that's kind of a typical, right? I just opened a BOM, right? The BOM is attached to documents, what you might commonly see in your organizations too, right? And so I'm going to go ahead, and now you will see that I'm going to open the Copilot. I popped out the Copilot, and I open the requirements spec here, right? It happens to be a PDF document. It's almost a 400-page document, and just kind of pay attention to the drop downs here, right? As I run this video on the right. So I click the drop down, and then if you look at the context, that I selected the currently open document. So I focus the Copilot on this document, the one that's currently open, and I'm going to proceed and start. Right, I'm researching this document, and I'm going to ask a question. Right, it's an automotive spec, so I'm asking a question about the ADAS system, and I'm also kind of directing it to generate the output in a certain format that I require. Right? I'm saying generate this in a tabular form, and I also said, right, if you notice, highlight numerical values, right, numerical number ranges, and it did that. So you can quite easily, right, research documents in this manner, right, in a secure manner. They're already in Teamcenter under security control, and you can do this, and this complements what we had in AI chat in the 2504 in the 24 releases, where you could simply engage in conversations with large sets of documents. That is there. So we added a new focus where you can go from maybe you start with 10,000 documents, right? You ask a question and gives you 5 documents, and now you want to go deeper into one of these 5 documents. So it's that kind of flow that we are enabling now with a single document focus. Now let's do like a BOM focus here, right? Let's say, okay, I switch to visualization mode here. And now if you notice, I'll go into the BOM mode. I said, let's focus on the currently open BOM. And then I come back here and ask a question, right? I say, oh, locate me the radar on the BOM. So I get some hits here. And then I select the first hit, it's a radar there. And I follow it up with simply a natural language question here, right? I said, okay, do me a proximity filter, right, around the component selected. So you can so broadly, right, you can use the Copilot to interact with documents, interact with requirements, either in collections or single documents, and you can switch to the BOM focus. You can do what you might otherwise do with smart discovery, right? You can do most of those commands, right? You can simply use natural language to do that. You can also do work sets, right? You can also issue instructions to create work sets, proximity filters, and a lot of that, right? So a lot of things that you would otherwise have to go and use commands to perform, you can now perform with the Copilot, right? It's both knowledge discovery, ease of use, right? So these are the things that we're enabling with the Copilot. Okay. So to kind of put this in context and summarize the what's available with the 2506 Copilot. is the broad functions are document centric, right? One set of functions are related to documents and text. And you can interact with these documents and collections, right? You could have maybe 10,000 documents, and you can ask like a general chat GPT kind of a question on all these 10,000 documents. And if there's a relevant document with that pertains to the question that you asked, it'll generate you a response, and you can also see what document was used as a source to generate the response, right? That's the first mode here, and you can also focus on single documents. That's the demo we just saw, right? And this is often the case. We heard this a lot from many customers saying that, well, it's great, right? I researched out and I got down to these 2 documents, and now these 2 documents themselves are pretty challenging, right? They're like 400 pages, 500 pages. I'm dealing with a very large spec, and I'm just focused on some aspects of the spec. So how can I be efficient with efficiently use AI to perform my tasks at a single document level? So that is a single document focus. And finally, the BOM focus, right? We saw how you can use the BOM functions to search and filter and also execute actions, create a work set, etc. Right? So that's broadly what the Copilot does in 2506. And there's more coming in the 25 12 release in a couple of months from now. There's more features coming, right? And I can talk about that later in the presentation. So before we leave this section, right, so that I kind of bring the audience along and make sure that there may be some of you who are totally new to this, right? So I just don't want to assume that everybody's been tracking the AI chat and the Copilot. So let's go back a little and relate this back to what was the Teamcenter documents mode, right? Run through another use case. So here, I'm running a use case where I'm just coming into the system, and there's like a vast repository of knowledge here. But I just have a question in mind, right? I'm trying to find something here. So I'm just going to ask my general question in step 1. And then I get a smaller set of documents to deal with in step 2, right? A smaller set of results that are more focused in step 2. And then I dive into the single document more. Right? Let's look at how to kind of run through a scenario here, right? So we're going to do this. Right, engage the Copilot. And so here I don't even know where my answer could potentially lie, right? I'm asking a general question, potentially of all of Teamcenter here, right? So I asked a question here, and it found me a good, reasonable answer. It looks very promising. And it said, okay, this is the source document that produced that this answer came from, right? So that's good, that all looks good. So now I'm going to dive into this single document here, open this. And now I start interacting with it like I did earlier, right? So I can just go and start researching single document modes. I change my focus to currently open document. And like in the previous example, right, I'll go ahead and ask a question here. And then we'll do some collaboration flows here. So I ask a question here, much like in the previous example, it generated me a nice formatted output here. This is markdown format rendered as HTML. And then here, if you notice now, I'm going to copy this response. And I go into collaboration mode. I go into discussion mode. And I'm going to start discussing with one of the colleagues in my team, right? So I say, hey, Carl, I'm looking at this spec here. This is what I found. What do you think? Stuff like that. And so I go into engage in a collaboration flow here, right? And I simply copy and pasted my findings from the other document that I was researching there, right, in the Copilot. And I go ahead and say, oh, whoop, I just message Carl. And now I switch back. If you notice, top right here, right there. I also have the Copilot open, right? I switch back and forth between collaboration and using the Copilot. because the open panels are all stacked on the right. Right, you'll see that in the 2506 release. So it's very easy to just use this in a AI mode to do research, and then you can switch between discussions, right, to collaborate, right, things like that, right. So these are the flows that we want to enable, right. It's all about making the engineers' lives easier, right. You to just unlock productivity in Teamcenter, right. This is what we're aiming for, right. You can discover knowledge easier, you can collaborate easier, right. These are the use cases that we're right, empowering you with. All right. So we talked about right, the Copilot, the functions available with the Copilot, and now in terms of the data coverage, the formats and the data that we cover, right? The three broad categories of right, you can think of it as data types or file formats, etc. Right? It just depends on your perspective. So first is the what you might consider the most popular formats. Microsoft Office, the Words, the PowerPoints, Excel, etc. And the PDF, of course, right, is really big with engineering content. Rich text, HTML, a very very broad set of document formats, right? We support that, and we even go deeper into more special formats like GIF, TIFF, PNG, JPEG, right? These are image-based formats, and if there's any text inside of these images, right, the text from these images is also made available, right? The Copilot can also harness text from these documents. And we ship the OCR engine out of the box, right? You don't have to install a separate OCR parser or things of that nature, right? We ship it out of the box. You only have to enable OCR processing, right? It's all prepackaged with the product. And going even deeper, right? Requirements, right? If you're managing requirements in Teamcenter, requirement structures are actually managed as text in Teamcenter. So you might have you're using requirements, and you have like a large spec, right? So that text is also available via the Copilot. And with CAD files, right, CAD models and drawings, any form of text inside of NX models and drawings, right, might be drawing notes, or it can be PMI text, right, or Solid Edge, same thing with Solid Edge. All that information is also, right, can be surfaced up. So you see the value here is that you can take information that's much deeper, right, in the hierarchy of how information is layered, right? You have Teamcenter, and Teamcenter has like metadata, and the metadata has files, and there's text inside of these files, and then you have CAD data, and there's CAD models, PMI. So all that information is surfaced up, right, via the AI. So that's kind of the right, the value that you can start talking with your users about. Okay. Now, moving on, right? You've all used the global search, Sorry, for a moment I thought I lost you there.
Well, it seems like we lost you on audio, but you're back now.
Okay, sorry, I think there might have been a disruption. I'm good now. You hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, thanks. All right. Back on. Sorry for the interruption, guys. So switching over, right? So switching topics now. Natural language search. Uh, you no doubt, right, have used the global search in in active workspace Teamcenter. It's very popular, right? People use it all the time. It's the most heavily used feature in active workspace. Right? People like to search, find stuff, right? That's very common. So now, starting the 24.12, more refined than the 25.06 release, we feature a natural language search mode. So you can simply engage the natural language search mode here and perform a search. I'm going to run a video here. So let me go and run this. So here I toggle natural language search on. And if you notice here, I just asked like a very conversational question, right? I said, okay, find me all the gears from such and such a project. And I didn't have to very specifically structure my keyword search, right? I didn't use ands and rs and things like that. I just spoke my mind here, right? You can do things like this. You can just go ahead and ask your question, and it will interpret your question, and it will always play back the interpretation, right? Because that's important. And so if you look here, it plays back the AI interpreted, right, how the AI model interpreted the user's intent, right, is always played back here. So it's saying that, oh, you're looking for gears associated with such and such a project. That looks good, right? And so you go ahead and it runs a query for you. And you can also do combinations of types, properties, time ranges, data ownership, and things like that, right? Here, for example, I used a keyword. I said, find panels updated from this year. This is like a very straightforward question to a human person, right? I mean, you get it right away. But from an AI perspective, it's actually, there's quite a few things involved here, right? Because I said, find, this is my intent, right? I said, I'm searching for something. And then this was my keyword, right? Panel was not a type, it's not a property, but it's actually a keyword. It picked up on the keyword. And here I'm implying and indicating a time range. So you can interpret even these nuanced queries, right? And you can make this much bigger. You can say, find panels updated this year, owned by this group, right? Released such and such, etc. Right? You can do all that. This is available Teamcenter 25.06, right? And yeah, you can absolutely start using this with 25.06, and if this is also available in the 24.12 release. And this is technology that we are kind of really excited to launch, right? And I must kind of contextualize this. This is kind of a base AI technology that we are introducing in the product, and we plan to layer other higher value use cases on top of it. So what you can do with this is, right, you can take pictures, right? If you may be a person, you may be on the shop floor, or you're perhaps a service engineer working in the field, and then you want to take a picture of a part. Maybe the part is in need of service. You're looking for a replacement part, etc. Right? You can take a picture, and you can match it back in Teamcenter to the NX models themselves, right? To an actual CAD model that is the closest match to the picture or the photo that you uploaded. So here, in this case, right, I go here, right, I took this picture, right, on the field, I have an image, or maybe it's a catalog image. I come back here, and I'm able to match it with NX, with an existing NX model. So going forward, and this introduces a whole new modality, right, AI modality. The previous, the use cases that we talked about thus far are mostly text, querying, right, and this takes it to the next level, right? We're starting to deal with non-text modalities here. And so the things that we want to kind of layer on top of this is our problem reporting workflows or issue reporting workflows, right? Where a problem is reported in the field, and pictures are taken of the problem, right? And they're added to the problem report. And as the problem report flows through the system, right, it's automatically AI augmented with things of this nature, right? So the AI is going to give you recommendations. Okay, these are the parts that right, looking at the images attached to the problem. These are potentially the parts and models that you may want to look at that may be impacted. So that kind of pre-intelligence, right, to help but by the time the problem report gets to the engineer triaging the problem, right, they already have all this information in hand, right? It's use cases like that we're planning to layer on top of this. So yeah, I mean, please absolutely feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Charlie, right? We'll be happy to discuss your use cases. Good. Okay, now let's do a quick recap and talk about customer journey paths. So I'll in the interest of time, and kind of leave some more time for Q&A and things like that. I'll quickly, right, not spend a whole lot of time on this. So we started 2406, right? We laid the foundations for secure AI, right? How to take this whole new, rapidly evolving technology of generative AI and safely connected with Teamcenter, right? The operative word being safe here, right? Because you can do a lot of things with AI that are kind of that can really be risky. So for us, security was paramount, right? In all this, so we took we started early, right? Even when ChatGPT was released first in 2022, I think, right? Towards the end of 2022 or thereabouts. Right. By then, we were already engaging with them, and we started early, right? And we built the framework and the pieces 2406, and we released AI chat. We followed that up with natural language search in 2412, and we continuously update our support for newer models. As new GPT models are released, newer AWS models are released, right? We look at the models that are doing better, right, which are trending more positively, right? And we start looking to evaluate and certify those models. And 2506, I just talked about it, right? It was a whole new right set of features that we added. And I want to emphasize that all through this journey, for customers, right, there's continuity. You could have started in 2406, and you can go all the way to 2506, right? All the investments that you made in 2406 are still good, right? We are not going to ask you to reformat your data, migrate your data, etc. Right? It moves with you. You will automatically get updated to the Teamcenter Copilot when you go to 2506. And the same thing going forward, 2512, right? There's more features coming in the product. We're featuring our Siemens documentation is now going to be available via the Copilot, right? You can, for example, maybe you're looking at you're looking at visualization, right? You're using visualization and you want to learn something about how to section, right, in visualization. You can ask that question right there, and it will look up Teamcenter documentation. We ship it out of the box, right? And it'll give you like a ChatGPT kind of a response looking at our Siemens product documentation. And there's refinements coming to natural language search and requirements intelligence, right? It's something we're really excited about. There's new features coming in that makes requirements management, right, so much more capable now, right? There's embedded AI with requirements. And the part recommendation service, we're kind of looking into it, right? It's kind of, we're not entirely sure if it will make the 2512 release. Same with the BOM impact analysis. So I must always, remind you that anything that's on the roadmap 2512, right? Its roadmaps are always subject to change. This kind of once again re-emphasizing what I told you earlier is that there's continuity in all this, right? So you can come in any stage here, and we'll strive to move you forward in a seamless manner, right? You can start at 2412, 2506. The Copilot is simply an automatic update. You don't have to, right? There's no additional burden on you going from 2412 to 2506. So you can, if a lot of people ask me, oh, should I wait for such and such a release to get started with AI? And our response to them is always is just start, right? If you're on 2412, just start right then. Because for you as an organization to get to kind of become familiar with AI, right? Not just Teamcenter, AI in general, taking AI-based solutions to production, right? There's a learning curve there. That has nothing to do with Teamcenter. It's just the nature of AI. So the sooner you start, the better, right? So that by the time we will always add more features, and you will continue to experience them, right, as you move forward. So we'll encourage you to start as soon as you can, right, in terms of your Teamcenter version. So a little bit about the best practices. We've worked with many customers now, and we're also kind of learning, right, their pain points and the things they come back to us and ask questions. And there's quite a bit of experience that we have now. We want to try and pass some of this back on to you. So as you start looking at Teamcenter AI, right? You look at this demo, right? I talk about these things, and then you're wondering how to get started, right? And we recommend this 5-step staged process. And some of this is quite obvious, right? Clearly, you have to be on a release that has these newer AI features, that's 2406 or later. And the later the version, the better, obviously, because there are more features. And stage number 2 is kind of quite critical, actually. And I'll talk a little bit about this in another slide. Or maybe I'll go there and then come back. So basically, this is where, right, you as a company, as our customer, right, you make a kind of a considered decision on what your underlying AI platform is, right? Whether you're going to go with a cloud-based provider like AWS or Microsoft Azure, or you just want to go entirely on-prem. And there are pros and cons, right? Let's go a little bit into that for a moment. I'll just come back to the other slide, the master slide. So the AWS, or whether you want to go cloud-based or you want to go entirely on-prem, right? It's kind of like there are pros and cons, right? Depends on a lot on your what you prioritize. When the AI stack is on the cloud, and when I say cloud here, it's always on your tenant, right? There's no public access to like a GPT model, right? We don't support that at all, and I'm almost certain you don't want to either. So this is on your tenant, right? So if you have an Azure tenant or an AWS tenant, you could provision, you could have AWS or Microsoft set you up with like a GPT model or a cloud model, right? You can absolutely do that. And they're very standardized offerings, right? And you perhaps already have it. A lot of our customers already have this. So these are some of the advantages, right? You can get started quickly. You can access newer models. And this is really important, right? From a Teamcenter infrastructure sizing standpoint, there's really nothing much you need to do because these are managed services, right? They're provided on the cloud. And the only 2 new components you will install are 2 microservices on the Teamcenter side. That's hardly anything, right? So you don't really have to go back and rethink a whole lot of server sizing, right? None of that is required with this option. So some customers, right? I have seen some customers, aerospace and defense, etc., right, who sometimes have to have a greater exercise, a greater level of control over their IT environment, right? So some of them are, right, want to be here where they want to fully manage everything end to end, right? So they will want their AI stack entirely local in their data center, managed by their IT department. So you can do this, right? You can go open source. You can go Llama with that. We support that too. So this kind of, but here, the things to keep in mind here are you really have to plan for infrastructure, right? You have to plan for GPU servers, sizing them appropriately, and there's the running cost, right? There's the cost of running operations, etc. So it requires a certain level of in-house expertise with MLOps, right? With the second option here. So it entirely depends. If some people come and ask us sometimes, do you recommend one or the other? We don't right to make the recommendation, but we can kind of work with you and remind you and right give you pointers on the pros and cons, right? And you will make the decision based on your circumstances. So that was section, that was 2. That was we were at 2 right here. And 3 is where once you made the selection, which is a fairly kind of a very I would say a deliberate decision that step number 2. Step number 3 is more the details, right? Okay, great. You decided to go with one of these options, and now how do you set this up, right? On the AI stack side, we provide you very detailed guides. It's extremely detailed. There's step-by-step instructions with screenshots, right? And it's available in Support Center. I'll share the links. You can use those, right, to set up the AI stack. And steps 4 and 5 are more, if you're a Teamcenter admin and if you're a Teamcenter person, this is more familiar territory, right? You've done this. So you will use the deployment center, and the deployment center, you install features, you install components, and there's a guided install, right? As you install the microservices, the 2 microservices, the microservices will prompt you for the endpoints of the AI models, right? It will ask you for where is the what's the URL of the LLM, for example, what's the URL for the embedded model, ask you for connection parameters to the vector database. So it's all a guided install, right? So that this is fairly straightforward. And finally, I would say the functional aspect of this, right? Where you will want to look at all the data that you have in Teamcenter and kind of look at it and say, okay, this is the data that I want in AI, in my AI, right? Or maybe one example, right, is some customers say that, well, I only want my released data to be available for AI interaction, right? Because the work in process data is always in flux, right? And so I want just release data. And that's fine, right? That's kind of like a business functional decision that you will make, right? Once again, based on your use cases and what is more relevant to your situation, right? So, and we make it very configurable, right? You can simply scope the data using a saved search, right? Those of you who've used Teamcenter for a while, you know what a saved search is, right? You can say, okay, my scope for my AI is my release documents, and they're all in PDF format, and they're owned by the engineering department, right? Engineering group. That's fine. You just create a saved search, and you configure a preference. So that's your knowledge base. And you can set up any number of these knowledge bases, right? You can do that, and there's detailed instructions on how you set that up. And then if you're already using Teamcenter Active Workspace and you're running search, search involves indexing. So embedding is in many ways similar to indexing. It's actually the same pipeline, right? If you're already running search indexing, you already know how to do this. It's another flow, right? You just set up another flow, and the sync process takes care of refreshing the embedding also. Just like it keeps the Solar index up to date today, it also keeps the vector index up to date in the same manner. You don't have to do anything different. And we also ship monitoring tools. They're available in Active Workspace. If you go to the Active Admin or the Active Architect interface, you'll see like a dashboard to monitor the embedding process. It will give you a health check on
Paula, it sounds like we lost you on audio again. Give us just a second. We'll bring him back, everyone. My apologies. Paula is rejoining audio. We see screen sharing. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm having
okay, hear you now.
issues today. So you can hear me now. I'm good now. Okay, so back on right. Let's do this. It's 2:40. It's another 15 minutes to go now. So I'm just looking to see where we are. So we kind of went through the like the best practices, right? And how to set up your AI stack, go through the 5-step deployment process. And now from the big picture view of the deployment is, this is the Teamcenter stack, right? You're all familiar with the Teamcenter stack, no doubt. The only 2 new components you'll install are the boxes here, right? The 2 microservices. And the embedding model, right? I'm sorry, and the AI stack is comprised of the embedding model, the vector database, and the large language model. And we support 3 stacks, like you said, the AWS, Microsoft, the Llama stack. And the only points of exposure that from Teamcenter to the AI stack is through the microservices. So we very narrowly gate Teamcenter to the world of AI, right? And that's really important from a security standpoint. You just want to monitor just these 2 microservices, and from if you're metering it, you're logging it. So it's just exactly these two microservices that will interact with the AI stack here. And this design is deliberate, right? We want it to be this way, right? For ease of deployment, for securing your installation, etc. Right? So this is a deliberate architectural design choice, right? We did it for a reason here. And all this information is available, right? We'll make it available if you don't already have access to it. So these are the models that we support. This is our support matrix for 2506. And typically, right, depending on your installation, you will kind of locate yourself to be one of these rows, right? You will be one of these rows. Let's take one, for example, right? Maybe you're a cloud customer and you perhaps have Azure, Microsoft Azure, right? And you could either have Teamcenter already on your Azure tenant, or it could be on your data center, right? And your tech stack, since you're an Azure house, right? You could simply continue using Azure, right? You use the GPT model. So this row applies to you, and so same with AWS, right? And if you're, on the other hand, entirely on-prem, right? Your Teamcenter is on-prem. You also want to have your AI stack on-prem, entirely under your control. The last row would apply to you. So almost every customer, right, can look at themselves in one of these rows, and so we will continue to support these options, right? Because we understand that customers, right, they have different deployment needs, AI stacks, and so we'll support a few options, right, for flexibility here. And if you don't see a particular model here, right, don't worry about it, because we're always looking at newer models, right? We're looking to update to newer models. If you see a model that's not here, that's not not a deal breaker by any means, right? You can come back and talk to us, and we'll be more than happy to look at your request, right? And we can go from there. Uh, and importantly, if you're considering Teamcenter X, our SaaS offering, or if you're a SaaS customer, it will be released soon in a shortly in Teamcenter X this year for sure. All our handoffs are done, all our testing is done. It's going to be made available in Teamcenter as a SaaS offering, right, very shortly. So this is if you're on the 24.12 release, the older release. So this is a similar right support matrix for 24.12. Well, this is some more detail on how you go about deploying it, right? If you're how to use the deployment center. So essentially, right, you will select. These are the two. These are the applications that you will select, right? You'll select these applications, and you can pick one of these options. You can either go AWS, Azure, or self-managed, and depending on what you select here, the deployment center screens that follow will automatically ask you the right questions, right? For example, if you're looking at here, I picked Azure, for example, here, right? So it's asking me questions on specific to Azure. Had I selected AWS, there would have been a slightly different right set of inputs that it would have the screens will ask you for. So all this is automatic, right? The only choice you have to make is this, right? You pick this, and you will be guided through the rest of the install. And there are no manual steps involved, right? It's after you're done with your DC setup, you're done. It's not like you have to go and perform another 10 steps, run these tools, run these utilities, none of that, right? It's all entirely automated through the deployment center. Let's talk a little bit about knowledge bases. So I mentioned knowledge bases, right? In the context of Teamcenter data and how you would logically organize them as knowledge bases, right? So the conceptual kind of framework for knowledge bases is, take this example here, right? For example, the thing here on the left. This is your Teamcenter data distribution, right? You have, right, and these percentages, and these are the proportions. Now, you want to make these available as knowledge bases, right? So you want to take all your requirements, company standards, product specs, and material data sheets, and define them as distinct knowledge bases. And how would you do that is by way of a criteria definition. That's the saved query part. And the saved query is very simple. For example, the requirements, you say, oh, my requirements, they're either requirements type or PDFs. And there's a time date range to this, right? You say, I'm only interested in the 2022 or later, right? Requirements older than that, we don't so much care about, right? For whatever reason. And they're all owned by the engineering. So this definition of what this criteria is entirely up to you, right? It can be anything that makes functional and business sense to your situation. These are just some examples here. So you take this, translate them into criteria definition, and once you do this, the embedding process, right, the AI data preparation process, simply honors these definitions. And once the AI embedding is done, and you engage the Teamcenter Copilot, go into Teamcenter, open up the Copilot, you'll see the same knowledge bases listed here, right? And so going all the way from left to right, you start from the logically thinking about your data, then you define them using right search criteria, And finally, right, you experience them as knowledge bases right here in this drop down. And you can pick one or all knowledge bases, right? You can direct your question on against one or all of them. So that's about knowledge bases. Fairly straightforward. And if you've been doing Teamcenter for a while, this is extremely simple, right, and familiar. This is kind of quick links, right? If you're looking to how do I get started, right? And this is all these links are available in Support Center, right? You can go to they're all Support Center links. And Sarah, I think you're going to make this presentation and deck available, right, in some form to the attendees. So yeah, don't worry about it. We'll or just ping me, ping Charlie, right? We'll be more than happy to help you with this. So this is how you get started. You set up the third-party setup, the admin documentation, the user documentation, right? So it's all here. So a quick kind of right, what's upcoming and next, and with the AI, right, things are changing. Right, things probably changed from the time we started this meeting to in the last 1 hour, so it's changing that fast. But broadly, right, the things that we're focused on is documents, text, and search. Right, search, the info, document discovery, searching on metadata, searching in documents is such a central part of what AI does, right? Really, right? Needle in the haystack, right? We'll continue to do that, right? We'll continue to invest there. And if you see the things that are bolded in white here, they're coming, or most they're coming in the 2512 release, right? Subject to my roadmap disclaimer, of course, right? And the rest of the stuff we're starting to work on them, right? You'll see them in future releases. Requirements engineering, once again, AI to kind of embed it in actual core PLM processes, right? Requirements engineering, bill of material management, and you'll see requirements AI in 2512 as well. Security and responsible AI. I mean, this is front and foremost to us, right? Because this and I say this to a lot of people who will sometimes say that, hey, so we could somehow some of our customers, I'll get into a debate on is it make or buy, right? They'll say, oh, we're trying to DIY this yourself. Sure, I mean, that's your decision, right? And we respect that. But the amount of effort and specialization it takes to stay on top of security is immense, actually. We have an entire team that's doing just this, right? Staying on top of security threats, right? That come in every day with AI, right? So you can rest assured that anything that we ship, it is 100% vetted, right? We pass it through any new threat that emerges, for example, right? We are on top of it. So those are some of the benefits that you get, right? When you deploy Teamcenter AI. And from a foundational standpoint, right? Agents, of course, we're starting to work on agents in our R&D. We even have some working agents. Right, we're looking at MCP and similar technologies. So there's more to come here. There's a lot of exciting stuff already happening here. This kind of just to give you a view of where we're going with AI and what's coming up next. You'll hear a lot more, right, in the months to come and time to come. So with that, right, I just have the 1 minute now. So I'll hand back to Sarah. And thanks all. I mean, thanks really for the time.
All right, thank you so much, Bala. I think we got to a lot of these questions here, but attendees, I'd like to give you a second to submit your question, and we can always pull these and try to follow up offline or do an FAQ or something like that. We had a ton of great questions here. Obviously, we don't have a time to answer very many, but maybe we can get to one or two here that we haven't answered yet. Bala, are you able to see the chat?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to it. Do I just click on this?
You should be able to see chat at the bottom. I wasn't
Or
sure.
Charlie, do you already have chat open, or is it a
Yeah, let
question
me
that
look
you want
here.
me to?
Let's see. They're just going so fast. Let's see.
So let's start with multi-language support because I saw a few questions on that um, that I didn't answer in the chat. So Bala, do you want to talk to like what languages we currently support for Teamcenter Copilot?
Yeah, that's a great question. With the 2406 release, right? I mean, sorry, with the 2506 release, the June release, right? We officially supported just the English language, right? That's where we were. But I'm happy to say that with 2512 now, the December release, we're supporting the framework itself is capable of supporting all the languages that Teamcenter itself supports. Right? I think it's 14 or 15 languages that we support. And we will validate English, of course, and Korean, right? English and Korean will be officially validated while while the framework itself supports other languages. It's just a matter of validating the other languages. So it's all framework ready to be right consistent with all the locales and languages that Teamcenter supports.
Great. And then I saw another question about this is an interesting one. Just roll it back up to it. Okay, regarding manufacturing systems like searching welding lines for making a door and provide efficient metrics or other features. So, so the use cases that Bala went over today for Teamcenter Copilot, I think they're very interesting. They're great. A lot of customers seem to be excited about them. With the 2512 release, you're going to see a lot more use cases, and with the 2606 release, you're going to see more use cases. So, as Bala said, this is the technology and how it can be applied to PLM is moving very fast, and we're trying to move very fast with it. So I'd say stay tuned for these manufacturing planning type use cases. I think we might have something coming up in the 2512 release. So stay tuned for that. And then I guess as a last question, I saw a few people asking about what we do for what support we offer for MCP, Model Context Protocol. I guess, Pablo, do you have anything you can talk to there? I know that's something that's on the roadmap.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Our kind of our vision, of course, is to support bidirectional flows, right? Where Teamcenter flows, agentic flows can consume MCP servers and the tools that they expose on the outside, right? Maybe there's a change management workflow that has to look up an SAP agent, right? Things like that, and also the vice versa, where Teamcenter itself can participate in other flows, right? We're looking at both, and MCP obviously is a technology that we've already started working on, right? Well, it's more to come on this topic.
All right. So I know I tried to answer as many of the questions as I was able to in the chat. So I think we'll try to get back to individuals on the questions that we weren't able to get to. But I know we are past time now. So Sarah, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Charlie, for your assistance during the Q&A and for typing all those responses during the presentation as well. And thank you, Bala, for presenting and answering a lot of these questions today. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thanks all. Thanks for your time. Thank you.